All right,
What do you
okay.
think of football?
Yeah, so we'll crack on with it. So what I'll do is introduce my show, what it's called, and then I'll bring you into it if that's okay with you.
Yeah, Sam, yeah, good.
So here we go with another edition of Bantams Small Talk, sponsored by Build and Timber, which is more than just good wood. Today I'm delighted to be informed by the former Bradford City player, Graeme Tomlinson. How you doing, Graeme? And have you had a good day so far?
Yeah, good, Nick. Apart from the weather being a bit wet and dreary down here today, but it's not too bad at all, mate. Not too bad. Been working, quite busy, but that's it really.
Yep. So I've got the questions on my phone, so if I keep looking away, it's just so I can get the questions correctly. And thanks for agreeing to doing this interview anyway. I'm going to do this interview in reverse order to the other ones to try and make it a bit different. So starting with the present, and obviously things. Since I've sent you these questions, things have changed a bit. So, What have you been doing to keep yourself entertained whilst we were locked down, but obviously whilst remaining safe? And do you think things will continue to improve?
What have I been doing? When it first happened, unfortunately, I was doing loads of gardening and stuff in the house. And I don't mind doing a bit of DIY, but my preparation for doing DIY is non-existent. So if I'm painting around and stuff, I think, I don't need to do that. And then I end up traipsing paint all the way through the house and stuff. So I've done a lot to the house. I don't get time to do it generally, bits in the garden. But the job that I do, I can do a lot of work from home as well. But yeah, it's been difficult for a lot of people. I think none of us have ever had this before, so we don't know how to deal with it. Obviously, at first it became a little bit of a shock for people, but I think now it's becoming a bit more of a realisation to people how important and how serious this has been, for not just the deaths and everything that's happened, but the economy and all the other things that go with it. It's an absolute nightmare, to be brutally honest with you.
It is. And do you think... I'm fairly confident that we should avoid the second wave because, according to the latest figures, not everything's been COVID related. Do you think we'll continue to improve and get back to our lives as near normal by Christmas? Or will it take a bit longer?
It's difficult. It's very difficult. I think this will continue for quite some time. I think it's something we do have to live with, Nick. It's really hard for people sometimes to quantify staying in your property. You can't go out, you're locked down, etc., etc. But we need to get things back to normal. I do think people are going to take a bit more time and effort now with not necessarily social distancing, but more to do with like cleanliness. If they have to wear masks and going out places, I think that's really, really important. And I think if you start to go down that route, you can start to make things like possibly the football, the restaurants, everything else, make that be a bit more back to normality, should I say. Because we have to, unfortunately, get on with life. It's been an absolute nightmare for people who have lost people with this disease. However, we do need to muddle on with our life and try and find ways around it, because I think it's going to be here to stay for a while. I don't think it's just going to go away like that. I think it will continue to be around. We just need to try and deal with it and be as sensible as we possibly can. So it's not easy, I've got to say.
It isn't. So we'll just go into... talking of fans returning to football, I've spoke to Simon this morning. He said that they are hopeful fans should be able to return this year. Do you think that's possible yourself? Or at least some fans? Because some people are saying it's an impossibility, but I'm fairly confident, but I don't want to say it will happen and then it not.
It's very difficult, isn't it? Because again, I can have my opinion, but I can't see how we can go get our hair cut. And then we can't then go sit outside and watch a game of football with a mask on. I don't quite see what the logic in that side of it. I know it's more to it just than that. But I do think even if clubs have to do like a reduced capacity, okay? Yeah. So then you, for instance, whatever it is, you might have a 20% of what your capacity could be. At least then you've got that social distancing aspect of it. You might have to wear a mask when you go in there. So I think things like that can go on, because for people's mental health as well, by the way, people in this country especially, we love to go out to the football and everything else that goes with it, and the catering issues with the economy going as it is, and all the bits that go around football. It's not just the football, it's all the other things that go with it. So do I think we'll get back? Yes, I do. Things that I've heard is that we might be back the end of September or early October. Hopefully that will be the case, because it will give people a bit more of a direction looking forward, whether it's fans, players, people around the football clubs, because obviously a lot of football clubs have a lot of businesses associated with it, sponsorships, etc. So, yeah, I think hopefully it will be round about then. I don't see any reason why it shouldn't be, especially obviously when it's played outside as well.
Yep, and I still see that you're playing for Bradford City by the veterans team. How does it feel to still represent the club?
It's great. It's great fun. Been doing it for quite a few years now. Lee Clapham asked me quite a few years ago to do it. He's been really good with the lads organising it. So he's had like myself, Kevin Megson, Lee Lamb, Thornton brothers. You know them, I'm sure. And other lads as well, if I've missed anyone. But yeah, really, really good lads who play football. Been associated with Bradford, and a few of the lads have come along that have actually been sort of Bradford City supporters for a lot of their lives as well. But it's been really good, really enjoyable. We've got a tournament in Portugal. Hopefully, the end of October, depending. We were supposed to have it in May, but obviously for obvious reasons we couldn't. I think that's still going to happen, but if not, it will go on to next year. We've been to Germany, we've been to different places, Spain doing it as well, other places. So yeah, it'll be it's good fun, really good fun. Keeps us all together, and it's nice wearing the City kit again.
Yep, and obviously when you do play, how often do you play, and who else do you play with? Because one of your teammates is Adinho, and you and Adinho were my first ever two favourite players.
Oh right, fair play. Yeah, he's going to meet us over in Portugal. He's a nice lad. Obviously, I didn't actually play with him, but because he was a few years after me. But we used to play every sort of about every 2 or 3 months. But as the world's gone as it is, and everyone's busy with the work, so we tend to meet up maybe 2 or 3 times a year. But the tournament in Portugal is great. We might then go somewhere else a year after. But I think the lads really like the Algarve over there. It's a nice place to go and play. They really look after us over there as well. And we can talk and have a few beers after and that as well, which is good fun. But yeah, so he plays Adinho, and then you got Lee Lamb, who's playing for Exeter as well, and Mego, and there's quite a few different people who used to play. But it's good fun. It's really, really good fun. I think we asked Jakes to come along to play as well, but I don't know if he can do it with his work commitments as well. There's been a few other players as well. But yeah, no, it's really, really good game. Really good, Nick.
Yep, moving on to when you sort of did play. Who did you play for as a child, and were you scouted by Bradford City?
Yeah, I played for Bingley Juniors, funny enough. I was playing with them when I was about 9 years old, and I was playing a couple of years up.
Yeah.
So the manager at the time there asked me to come down and play, and so I ended up being the youngest by a mile, a couple of years. But really enjoyed it there. It was a good league at the time, and then a chap called Steve Smith, really when I spent a lot of time with him at Bradford through the years, he picked me up at Bradford, and it was basically me and a friend called Neil Brayton who used to play for Bradford as well.
Remember him?
We got so we both got picked up, and we'd go across to Bradford at Schoolmore, and we get the bus there and get back and all sorts, whatever. But great days, and Steve Smith used to look after us. But yeah, it's a long time ago, Nick. It's funny when you talk to people about it, because it doesn't feel that long, but 20 years ago or whatever, it's a long time. Funny how time flies.
Yeah, and although you've slightly covered it, how did you signing actually come about for the club? Who approached you to sign for the club?
Well, it was a strange one, because I'd been asked to go to a lot of different clubs. So at the time, there was clubs down south and up north, Sheffield United and other teams like that. But I was a Keighley boy, so my team was up at Bradford. A lot of fans around that area were either Bradford fans, Leeds United, or Burnley or Man U. They were all the sort of core of fans. And obviously being around the Bradford area, I wanted to stay with Bradford. So same with my best mate Neil was there, so we went across there. Dean Richards again, I was best man at his wedding, etc. Who passed away. But yeah, we went across there, and we just loved the club. Really, really good club. Really enjoyed my time there. You could argue probably could have spent a bit longer there, but it's just life, isn't it? You make decisions, and that's what it is. Yeah.
How long did it take you to become a first team regular? Did you get straight into the first team?
I was only an apprentice at the time, Nick. So you do like a 2-year scholarship apprenticeship.
Yeah.
At the time, it was a YTS in them days, and in the second year, I started to do quite well in the youth teams. So we played against teams like Blackburn. I scored a hat-trick against them. We played other teams. So I was doing quite well. Didn't think too much of it. We played against Man United, scored against them. I think we won 2-0. So people started to look at myself and I think some other players.
Yeah.
Playing in the reserves, doing well in the reserves. And then, got lucky with a couple of injuries to the first team players. There was a chap called Lee Power, who was a good football player. He had a bit of an illness. Sean McCarthy, got a bit of a hamstring strain. So I got onto the bench. And then when I got my chance, I took it, And that's what happens in football. You sometimes get your break by someone else having a little bit of, of unfortunate injury or whatever. And that's what happened. And then I got into the first team and then it went from there, basically.
That's brilliant. Talking of your goals, which, as asked Wayne Jacobs, which would you say was your most memorable goal for the club, obviously Bradford City? If you could pick one, or was it a couple?
Well, there was one that I remember because it was against Rotherham, derby game, and I think it might have been a bank holiday Monday, and it was an overhead kick. Me and Frank Stapleton at the time were playing up front, and I can't remember if he flicked it on or whatever. And I was in the box and I scored an overhead kick, which was great. But the best thing about it was my dad, who was alive at the time, he was in the crowd. He had all the Bradford fans behind it, and I could see my dad behind in the crowd jumping up and down. And there was like 3,000 Bradford fans behind. It was really good. So that always, I remember that. I won't forget that. But yeah, that was a great goal. But I just enjoyed the fact that my dad was there at the same time, and I could see my dad enjoying himself in the crowd as well.
Yeah, and when you played for Man United, how did it feel, especially when you were playing against your former teammates at Bradford?
When you're a young kid, because again I was only 18, 19 at the time, I don't think it didn't feel like it. No issues then, not at that age. I think if you've been at a club and you're 30 old plus and you're a bit more than you're coming out of football, I think there's a lot more affiliation with the club then, and you feel more, not love's the wrong word I'm looking for, but you understand the situation more. When you're young, you don't understand that kind of bonding until you're older, really. And I think that's just as a young age, you don't quite understand it. But yeah, no, it didn't feel anything at the time. I think if you were 30 odd years old, I think it'd be a lot more sentimental, should I say?
Yeah. Do you still follow the club, and do you still send matches or intend for next season? Obviously the ones I look out for on the sort of video printer or whatever. To be fair, over the last couple of years, haven't quite as much. I spoke to Jason a few times, Thornton, who've done the radio with him a few times, which I quite enjoyed doing. But last year, just for certain situations, I didn't really get a chance to see a lot at all Bradford, to be brutally honest with you. But yeah, they're always a team that I look out for obvious reasons. Yep. And do you think we can go back up next season under Stuart McCall?
100%. Yeah, 100%. I mean, you've got an absolutely fantastic manager. I mean, I've been in his company a couple of times, and I think personally him as a manager and a person, I think he's a really, really good coach, good manager, good man manager. I think he'll do really well for the club, and I think people keep behind him. Get promotion. That's exactly. I don't think there's any reason why not. Because Bradford should be in the Championship. Let's be honest about it. They're a big club, a great following, and that's where they should be. And when you're in the Championship at that kind of level, well, then you get those lucky seasons where you might go up, might come back down. But they're in that pool of big teams of 20,000 people going to a game on a Saturday, and that's where Bradford should be. They've got to work hard to get there. But I personally think Stuart McCall is a really, really good manager.
Yep, and obviously it depends on the budget and this perhaps salary cap coming in, which I don't think should happen. In which area do you think we should recruit? Do you think we need a new striker, new defence? Because the defence let us down last year, and also we could score and then it all went wrong.
It's a difficult one there because I'm very much into formations and systems, etc. Generally, when you're playing football, you're going to obviously go back through a striker, midfield player, and defender. But if you're going to play a certain system, so say for instance you're going to play three at the back, well, you don't intend to need, for instance, big centre halves. Because in my opinion, you can play a left-sided, left fullback at left side of a centre half, or you can play wingers at fullback if you need to. So I think generally you would go down the gut, centre forward, centre midfield player, centre half. But depending what system you play, or if you've got a certain way of playing. If you're going a 4-4-2 and you're going long and you're going pressing, etc., well, then you have to go for certain kind of players. If you're going to try and play more expansive football, well, you want more expansive players. So again, you go for more technical players, but it depends how he's going to play and what system he's going to play. But generally, all the strikers, you need competition for striking places. And obviously, midfield player, centre half. They're the three key positions for me personally.
Yeah, and if you don't mind, I'll just ask you, I've just thought of a couple of more questions. Have you ever watched Soccer AM or anything like that?
I haven't watched it for the last few years. I used to watch it all the time, but I haven't watched it for the last couple of years.
Going on to teammates, and if you can do it with Bradford City, if possible, who would you say was the biggest joker in the whilst you were with Bradford City? Who was the most fun? Who would have a laugh?
There was I was at Bradford. Funny enough, my friend Neil, my best mate Neil, was extremely funny. Probably more off the pitch than there. But there was a guy at the time called I forgot it. Oily was his to me. I've forgotten his first name now. So excuse me if he sees this. And he was he was a comedian. And the goalkeeper at the time, I think it was Pricey or whatever. I can't remember his name. Again, absolute lunatics. They were just. And I was only a kid, so again, you don't know how to take it. And I see some of the things that they're doing. And I remember one of them, we were doing like a long run in pre-season. And he didn't do the run. We used to get dropped off somewhere. You run back to Valley Parade. And we're running back, and I'm looking fine. And he's on the bus getting back to Valley Parade. He didn't even bother doing the run. I'm thinking, oh my God, lucky. I mean, obviously, I wasn't going to say anything as a young kid. But, things like that, I look at and you think, very funny, but I don't think you'd be able to get away with stuff like that nowadays.
Yep, I'm sticking with teammates. Who would you say is the most skillful you played with?
Most skillful? At Bradford.
If possible, if not, you can choose somebody else.
Well, at Bradford, obviously me. I'm joking. To be fair, I thought actually Brian Tinnion, when he was there, I thought he was skillful is the wrong word, but as a football player, he was an excellent football player, and I think he did go on to play for Bristol City for a good level. But as players in general, say for instance Man United, I think for me, obviously being around a lot of fantastic football players, but Brian Giggs was one player that we used to train. He's one player I couldn't. You just thought he had everything. He had speed, he had skill, he had inventiveness. I actually believe. I know it sounded really stupid, the fact that he had such a wonderful career. I think he should have been better. I honestly think he should have been better because, I don't remember him ever getting voted for the Ballon d'Or at all. And with a lad with his ability and his speed and his skills, I think he should have been anything to say with his record. But what a football player. Couldn't get near him. He was that good. He was really that good, honestly. Loads of good players there, but he's the one that I'd say I played with that I'd say is the best player.
So, can I ask you, who was the slowest in the shower out of your teammates, please?
Let me think. I thought it was Dave Beckham at the time. He liked himself or loved himself in a nice way. Funny enough, Jason Thornton, what plays in our veterans team. Yeah, he does the radio for Bradford. He's one of the worst ever. He takes so long. Making sure he's got his fake tan on and everything else is what he's doing. So yeah, he's probably the longest out of anyone I remember, to be brutally honest with you.
Yep.
But I don't know. I don't really remember too many players, if you want the truth. But I was normally get changed, washed, and get out of there really.
Yeah. In what area do you think City should recruit in, depending on the budget given? Because obviously this salary cap may be coming in, but we obviously don't want it. In which areas would you? I would go by the team in. Would it be striker, defender, midfield?
Well, again, I personally, again, it's down to systems and players. I think you always got to go for striker, midfield players, and defender. But I think it depends on how you're going to play your system. If you're going to play a 4-4-2, you're going to play a certain kind of player in a certain position. If you're going to play three at the back, well, you don't have to have, for instance, two big centre halves. You can have a left-sided player like a fullback playing in that position. So I don't think you're always going to get a striker because every team always going to get a striker, all right? Midfield player for competition places, and obviously if you're saying to me that the defence was a major issue, well then you're going to have to recruit there. But it depends on what system you're going to play and how you're going to play it. I'm a big believer in systems, but when you're playing a system, it's how you play the system. There's no point in playing a system and not playing it the right way, in my opinion. So it depends on what Stuart decides to do. But I think he will he will play football. So I think he's a good manager, and I think he understands the game well.
Yep, and have you got any special messages ahead of the next season for Bradford City fans in hope of returning, obviously?
I think it's important that when they get back, I think it's to stay with the team, stay with the manager. It's really important as a player when you've got the fans behind you. There's obviously parts in games you can't win every single game, and the fans need to try and stick with the players and give them as much encouragement as they possibly can. Bradford's got a huge following, and if those fans can really get behind Bradford, I know it's a cliche, but if they can make that place a bit of a fortress, which it should be. People should be going to Bradford thinking, I'm going to be worried about playing in front of 17 to 20,000 people. So I think that's really important. So I'd say to the fans, stick behind your team. And I honestly believe that Bradford should get up to where they should be. And again, it's another 2 leagues higher, but they have to do this one first and then go again and then go again. But but I wish them all the best, but I think they should do really well this year.
Yep, and I'll just go for one more, then I'll let you go. And thanks for your time. What's your most recent favourite memory for Bradford City when you weren't playing? Would it have been one of the win over Chelsea, win over Leeds, promotion? What's your most standout moment over more recent times, even though it might be 2013 or whenever?
Yeah, I think you're right. I think the Chelsea one was a massive thing, and it was quite funny because I was driving up the next day to go to a veterans football match, and I had my Bradford City sort of top on, etc. And there was loads of Chelsea fans at the service station, and they were going, "Oh, well done for yesterday. You played really well." I'm looking at myself thinking, God, I'm a little bit chubby for playing in the first team, to be honest with you. But yeah, they were. I think that's, as in recent times, I think that's the best memory and a really good thing for a lot of Bradford City fans. It hasn't been too much to shout about over the last few years.
Yep, and what do you think the importance of grassroots football is? Because, as you know, I play for the disability team. And although I can't play too often.
You're a goal scorer, aren't you?
Yeah, but unfortunately, I work, so I've only played like a couple of times last season, and we'll hopefully play. But what do you think the importance of the return of grassroots football is, especially Bradford City Disability FC?
I think it's unreal. I can't tell you how important it is. I've noticed it more down, especially probably last year more than anything else. But I live in a village where I am around here, and it's hugely important that when we get back playing, because the people in the village here support obviously the football team and they go and watch it. My son now plays non-league football, and a good level non-league football. But again, it's so important for so many of these fans to get back and watch the players play, and the players enjoying it themselves. And people forget when they're looking at the Premiership, all these different leagues all the way down. The Premier League and the Championship, everyone believes that. People forget about it. So grassroots football, 100%, is so important for that to get back. And if anything, that's easier to get back than, for instance, your 15 to 20,000 people on a Saturday afternoon. So yeah, but keep your goal scoring. You've scored a few goals apparently. One of the guys was telling me you're not bad at. Is that right?
Yeah, I've scored a few. Not as many as others, but I'm claiming. If last year, I'm going to claim one of the goals of the season.
Oh yeah, what was it like? A free kick?
Obviously, it was the smaller nets, 5-a-side in court,
yeah.
and the nets are a lot lower but a lot wider. So I got the ball, and obviously it's a smaller pitch, so it's nothing like a full professional pitch.
Yeah.
But I managed getting the ball on the halfway line, sort of run a little bit forward, looked up, and I thought I'm going to have a shot here. And all right, I didn't really think it'd go in, but it went straight in, and everybody
fantastic. Top corner,
yeah,
mid corner. No, fair play. Get the old cup and medal for that at the end of the season, then, eh?
Yeah, but what I do want to do, obviously, is if and when we do get back, I think it's going to be September before we get back to training.
Yeah.
If and when we do, I'd like to invite you down. I think the lads would love to see you.
Yeah, because when I come back up, so again, I'm down south at the moment. When we're back playing, when I come up anyway, we've had the odd games for the odd charity event, which we had one. I think it was probably just before Christmas. I think we had one up there. Yeah. So yeah, definitely, I'll come up there and I'll watch you play, and I'll give you some stick from the sideline, eh?
Yep, and if you can give a message, say hello to Edinho for me, because you were both brilliant. Because I'm hoping to get hold of him next. So
when I see him, I'll see him. I'll tell him that you said you were better than him.
Yeah, and if he can pass my email on, and if he's available for an interview, then it'd be absolutely brilliant. The more people, for the better.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Yeah, I will do, and I'll get that sorted for you, Nick.
So, last question: what are you doing tonight? Are you going to go and watch any football, or are you just chilling out and having a beer?
I'll watch a bit. I'll watch a bit of TV. I'll watch the football tonight. And I was going to go and play some tennis, but I'm looking outside, and it's not looking very nice out there at the moment. But no, I'm going to sit down and watch some TV, and then start analysing all the football that's on TV. Because I'm a bit of a football watcher, Nick, and I'm a bit of a football nut, so I talk about systems and formations and stuff. So I'll be on to my mates later on talking what the managers didn't do properly.
Yeah, I'm going to go and watch the football later on because I have got a Premiership team, but you'll have to have a guess who it is. Who's playing tonight about 8 o'clock?
I'm trying to think who's playing tonight. I don't know actually. Who's playing tonight? They're Tottenham.
It's Arsenal.
Arsenal. A very, very good friend of mine, my best mate down here, he works does all the podcasts for Arsenal. So he tells me a lot of stuff that he's going to talk about on these podcasts. Clive Palmer, his name is, and he goes on them. So he calls me up afterwards, and we analyse the game about all the things that should have happened or didn't happen. So yeah, so you're an Arsenal fan, funnily enough. Why is that?
Well, obviously Bradford, I'm a number one team. And when we played them in the cup, I wanted City to win, but it's because my parents have known some friends in London for years, and they've got sons and daughters, and we've known them that long. They're big artists. They got me into supporting them.
Oh, fair play. Great team, great club. They play some really good football. They need to change their, I must say identity is probably the wrong word, but they need to change some bits and bobs that they're doing at the present time. But their manager, I think, will do excellent for them. He knows his stuff. And he's played his football in this country for Rangers and obviously Everton, etc. as well, and Arsenal. So he'll be really good for Arsenal, I think.
Yep, so I want to thank you for your time and also invite you if and when, because I'm supposed to be meeting, Cesspods hopefully wants to come over when he can, around Christmas time. Mm-hmm. And we've arranged to go and have an English beer and a curry, so obviously if it's still safe to do so, he can join me and Andy can warm you, and we'll all go and have a good time.
Yeah, I'll that sounds good to me. And and when it's that time and we're all back and out and about and everything, and we're all allowed to be out safe. Yeah, 100%. I'll be up there.
Yeah. So thanks for your time, and I want you to go and have yourself a good night.
Good man. All right, Nick. Good to speak to you.